To do a basement, it's pretty easy. You want to put in the basement first, then add the steps. I know a lot of students were saying like, my stairs aren't going the right way. You want to add the basement first, then we're going to do the steps. There's a couple different ways to do a basement. We're going to do the easiest way first, and then obviously we can progress from there. But when you're on your first floor plan like this, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the button. Looks like this. Okay, it's like the little house icon. That's you can see it's kind of hard to like zoom in, but you can see it's got like the first floor, and then it says like, you know, this is grayed out to add another floor. So if you click on that button, you're gonna get a dialog box over here to insert. So you could build a new floor up above. You can insert a new floor, which just takes whatever you have from the first floor up to the second. You can delete one. You can exchange floors from your floor plan. Like if you were drawing and you were like, I really want the first floor to switch with the second floor, you could switch them. Build a foundation is how we're going to do the basement. Hole in the platform would be like how you put the hole in for your steps in the floor. Hole in the ceiling, if you wanted to have like vaulted ceilings or you wanted to have a skylight. Floor material region, like I said before, was like if you want to make a patio or you want to add something different, like to a big like square floor. You wanted to add like a little section of it to be maybe your foyer floor. You could do that. And then rebuild is just a way for the computer to refresh. So if you guys click on the build foundation part right here, you'll get a dialog box to pop up here. Real quickly, there's not a lot of stuff you're going to change really, but I just want to go over what's in here. So the foundation type, foundations are simply just like what the walls sit on. So walls with footings, and I can explain what a footing is a little bit later. It's just, you know, like this big, you know, block, or, you know, it's usually like 16 inches wide by a foot deep thing of concrete that the walls sit on. You don't want the wall to sit on mud, would you? It'll sink, right? So like they usually dig these trenches, which are your footings, okay? You could do beams on piers, which means like your house is almost like floating, okay? They usually do that down south where you don't have a lot of ground movement, right? So like in this part of the country, the ground freezes. When it freezes and thaws, the ground's constantly moving. You know what I mean? So for us, we want to build our basements and our walls pretty far down. Does anybody know how far down you're supposed to build a wall in Pennsylvania? There's a minimum of 3 feet. 3 feet.
Excuse this interruption. Any ninth grader with the last names N through Z who needs a picture retake, please report to the gym now. Any ninth grader with the last name starting with N through Z, please report to the gym now for a picture retake.
There's also monolithic slabs. So those are the same thing, like as far as like, there's something called slab on grade. That's what we usually called it. That just means that your house literally is like on the ground, but on a concrete slab. So there's no basement, there's nothing underneath. It's just literally on the ground. That's usually what garages are. Right here is the slab. That's like how thick the slab of concrete is that you put on the ground. 4 inches is the minimum to put that in. So you really don't want to mess with that unless like later on you want to have like a thicker, you know, piece, you can. But down here, the stem walls, that's what we need to change. So a stem wall is like how big the wall is in your basement from your footing to the top. 37 inches is pretty small, you know what I mean? So usually you go in 8, 10, 12. So we're going to make ours 8 foot. So change that number to 8 foot. And there's other stuff in here for garages and stuff. We're not going to worry about that. So 8 foot right here. Then hit OK. And it's going to ask you, do you want to derive the new foundation plan from the first floor plan? Which means, do you want your basement to go all the way around your floor plan like this, or did you want to draw it in? Because you know how some of us, our basement doesn't go over the whole first floor. It's like maybe 3/4 of it, because like you don't need the whole thing. You could do that later on. You could just draw however you'd want it. But for us, we're just going to hit OK, make it the whole thing. And now you can see we are on a foundation. If you're looking at this plan, you see these lines. The dashed lines right here represent that footing. Okay, and I'll explain that here in a second with the 3D view. And then this is the concrete wall. So it's just this wide open area down below. So looking at it in 3D, you can see right here, see how it has like that footing underneath right here? That's what your walls sit on. Okay, so that's usually like dug down pretty deep, and then this wall right here is 8 foot. These are like the new ways to do the concrete walls. Now they call them cast in place, where they'll actually like put sometimes like foam, like these foam pieces like up, and then they'll fill it in with concrete with rebar, and then you'll have like a solid wall. Whereas like if you guys look in the classroom, it's all concrete block. Concrete block is a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier to do. So that's why they do concrete block. You know, if you buy concrete blocks like these at a store, you know, if you buy over a couple hundred of them, you'll get them for like less than $1 a piece. So, you know, they're like 90 cents or something like that. They're really, really cheap. Whereas if you're trying to pour this, you have to have it specialized. You have to have the foam, you know, inserts. You have to have the rebar, and then you have to like have a truck come in and pour it, and then it's a little bit, it's better, right? So this is a lot better because it's a solid wall. These are hollow. If anybody didn't know, like concrete blocks are hollow. These are solid, okay? So now that we have this, okay, to get back to our first floor plan, you just go up here, see at the top right here, this little arrow, and there's a 0. If you click that up arrow, we go back to our first floor plan, okay? And now you can see our house is sitting on our concrete foundation. Last thing we need to really do is put the steps in. So what we'll do is we'll go back down to the basement, go to our plan, because you always draw on your plan view, okay? Over to the right, there's these 3 sheets of paper to the right. See these 3 sheets of paper to the right? They're on your right side of your screen right here. If you click those 3 sheets of paper, your first floor plan will show up in red. That is a reference layer to let you know like where stuff is above and below. There's multiple reasons why that's important, right? First of all, the steps, right? Second of all, like plumbing, electrical, things like that. Like you want to keep all that stuff together. So if I had a bathroom over here, wouldn't it make sense in the basement to have a bathroom or a laundry room over here?
10th grader with the last name starting with A through M, please report to the gym for picture retakes. Any 10th grader, last name A through M.
So we're going to draw steps in right here in the middle, okay? So what we're going to do is there's the step button right here at the top. See this? Steps. Click it. Over here there's a couple different ways to do them. You can do straight. We can draw them. There's curves. There's U-shape, L-shape. I'll let you guys mess around with those a little bit later. We're simply going to do draw steps. And what I want you to do is from the end right here in the middle, you'll click and hold. And you're going to have them go all the way up to here and let go. See how now it's going up to this spot right here? Everybody see that? I'll do it again real quick for those of you that missed it. I'm going to click steps. I'm going to hit draw steps. I'm going to start at the bottom here. Click and hold, and it starts putting them in. And then once it snaps to the top up here, I'm going to let go. And they don't have to be perfect for right now. We can, modify them here in a second. And now your steps are in. But if you look up a level and turn your layers back off, nothing's there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't see it. If you look in 3D view, you can see here's these steps leading to nowhere, right? If you go up a level, the floor is still in the way. So all we have to do is just draw a hole in the floor. The program should have been smart enough to put a hole in the floor, but it isn't. So go back to your plan view on your first floor. Go over to the Create Floor tool. Remember this one right here, the little house icon, this one. Click that icon. Go to Hole in Floor right here. And just click somewhere inside of this stairwell. It doesn't matter where. Just click once and you can see it puts in a rectangle, or sorry, a square. Hit escape a few times. I'll redo this for anybody in a second. Now that that's in there, if you click on the square, you'll see you have some grips like this. Just make it fit the inside of your stairwell by clicking and holding like this. Make sure it fits the inside your stairwell like such. Doesn't have to be perfect to start. And that's it. Now if you look, I have steps that go down to the basement. Everybody see that? We can change these later on to be solid. You could put a wall here so that way there's no steps, but for today, this is pretty good. Like I said before, down in your basement, drawing it on here, now you can see the steps show up. You can design this however you want. So if you want to throw in a laundry room, another bedroom, a movie room, whatever room, special purpose room, whatever you guys want to do down here, go ahead and mess around, just having some free draw time to make it whatever you want down there. And then tomorrow we'll go over how to do the outside stuff, how to add a roof. And really, that's about it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it gets more advanced, but that's about it, okay?